Hi there, thanks for coming back to the channel. The title for today's video is Hastings Direct Review. Keep watching and I'll give you my thoughts after the break. Hi there, before I get into today's topic, Hastings Direct Review, if you haven't subscribed already, today's topic, Hastings Direct Review. I should say that to all my normal subscribers, if you've clicked on this thinking it's one of my usual B2B content marketing and social media videos, it's not. So if you want to watch one of those, click off this video and watch one of my other videos. This is a consumer review of Hastings Direct car insurance, a provider in the UK. So now that you know that, let me continue. Okay, this is a video I didn't really want to make. I wouldn't want to be in the situation where I need to make a video like this. But let me tell you a story and I can introduce all the elements that I want to discuss. Right, on the 28th of October 2020, obviously almost a week ago now, I was involved in a car accident. I should say straight away that luckily, apart from I've got some whiplash, some back pain, some jaw pain, apart from that, I wasn't very, very seriously injured. So that's good. The two people that crashed into the back of me, they also weren't very injured. So that's good news, isn't it? That's and I'm grateful that nobody lost their lives during this accident because it's a terrible thing and it was a shock to my system. It's taken me out of my stride and you know, interrupted my workflow and everything, and I'm making this video now to get my thoughts out there and to give an honest review of Hastings Direct. So the situation was I was driving on the A3, which is a major dual carriageway. If you're watching this in America, it's not a freeway, but it's the next level down in terms of the level of traffic and the speeds and the congestion and so on. So it's a next level down, and somebody in the comments might explain what that road is called in America. In the UK it's called an A road, and it was the A3. I was driving on the A3. There was a lot of cars in front of me, and then I saw, by obviously being vigilant, that the cars ahead of me had on their braking lights. So I put my brake lights on and I effected and performed an emergency stop. So I made sure that I was able to stop in this sort of congested traffic area before, you know, so there's some space between me and the cars in front. I was able to stop, which was great. Unfortunately, the drivers of the vehicles, two commercial vans who were driving behind me, either weren't paying attention, perhaps were going too fast. I mean, they'll have their opportunity to explain themselves, but they weren't able to effect an emergency stop, and they should have been able to. They perhaps were tailgating. Obviously, I was facing forward. I don't know what they were doing. One of them crashed into me, and another one crashed into the first van. So two vans collided with my car. My car, you can imagine my car being this car here, let's say, and then another van crashes here, and then another van crashes into the van that's crashed into the back of my car. My car, I've since learned that my car is now unusable, unrepairable, and has been written off. So I'm without a car since the 28th of October. Let me explain some more details. So the person who crashed into me was a guy called, I've got his full name, but I'm not going to use his full name. I'm going to say Mr. Lopez. That is his name. And he works for a company called Fast UK Parcel. Fast UK Parcel. And this is not an advertisement for them at all. And they obviously deliver parcels in the UK. That's who they are. And then he was hit by another driver, a man called Mr. Cushing. And I have his full name as well, but I'm not going to use his full name. Because I don't necessarily think that these two drivers, obviously they're at fault for the accident, but I don't think the sort of lack of speed of processing of the administrational claim and the insurance and getting me back on the road, I don't think it's necessarily their fault that hasn't happened since the accident. So as I say, 28th of October, that's when I had the accident. 28th of October when the accident happened. Two vans collided with me. The first was driven by a Mr. Lopez working for Fast UK Parcel Limited. The second van was driven by a Mr. Cushing who works for this company, Ryan J. Berg. The logo and everything was on the side. And these two drivers, you know, emitted their responsibility for the, for the accident, the collisions, etc. at the scene. So they didn't, to my knowledge, they've not done anything wrong, those two drivers, beyond causing the accident. They've done what they need to do after that. So those are the two companies that hit me. My insurance is held by a company called Hastings Direct, and that's these guys. And obviously, when I called after I should explain, at the scene of the accident, I used an app called What 3 Words to locate precisely where I was and where the accident had taken place. I called the police. The police came and closed down the carriageway, so the debris from the back of my car, you can imagine there's a lot of impact here. This was the area that there's a lot of impact, and I was hit twice. So then I was spun round and nearly hit and collided at the front slightly and did some damage there to the central reservation. So you can imagine they must have been travelling quite fast to make me first, to smash the back of my car and then to turn me round. So when I called in Hastings Direct and I wanted to explain the circumstances of the accident, the fact that I'd called the police and the police would make a report and they'd seen all the cars and they knew exactly what happened. And let's be clear, from my perspective, this is a no-fault claim. I effected emergency stop, so I made sure I cleared. I didn't collide in front with the car that was in front of me, but these two van drivers smashed into the back of me. So it was very clear, and the police were there, so anybody can verify with the police what their interpretation of the accident was. And the police advised me to try and get the vehicle, if it was drivable, and it was drivable, although it wasn't roadworthy because all the lights were smashed. The police advised me to get the car back to my home address and to then contact obviously the insurance company. I got the car back to the home address and I called Hastings Direct. The first person I called was a man called Calum, and he, instead of asking me about the accident, he wanted to read my terms and conditions of the car insurance policy with Hastings Direct. He wanted to say to me, well, you've got an excess, you're going to have to pay this excess. I hadn't even spoken about the circumstances of the accident, and he spent 8 or 9 minutes explaining, I want to read your policy with you, we don't do this, we don't do that. That was his approach. Bearing in mind, I've just been in a car accident, I've suffered some pain. I'm still able to walk. I'm very grateful for that. But I have suffered some pain and some shock. And this guy, instead of trying to be helpful, his name was Calum. Instead of trying to be helpful, he was trying to read the terms and conditions and remind me that I've got an excess on the account. After 8 minutes of getting nowhere with him, I hung up on Calum. And then I called back, same number, Hastings Direct again. And I spoke to a guy called Liam. Liam was more helpful, and he took all the details of the accident. He understood it's a no-fault claim. He understood that that 2 van drivers had driven into the back of me, and I've mentioned the name of their companies. And he said that he would progress this claim, and he would be in touch with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So Enterprise Rent-A-Car is this company here. Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They can rent cars to you privately, so you can hire a car for a few hours or whatever. But in this context, what they do is when your car has been involved in a road accident, they will provide you with 2 services. One is to pick up your car and take it to one of their approved repairers. Great. Sounds good. And also to give you a courtesy car so that you can drive that, so that you're not left without a car through no fault of your own. Let's remember, this was an accident that was caused by 2 van drivers crashing into the back of me. Not my fault at all. So I expected, after numerous calls with both Hastings Direct and Enterprise Rent-A-Car, I expected that they would provide me with a courtesy car, because that's what they said they were going to do. Okay, so the accident happened on the Wednesday the 28th. By the 30th, I've made, let's say, between 10 and 12 calls. Bear with me, I'm going to get my notepad. So by the 30th, the 30th of October, 2 days after the accident, I'm expecting my car to be obviously picked up, and I'm expecting a courtesy car to be supplied to me. When I was spoken to Hastings Direct and Enterprise Rent a Car, they both said yes, somebody will pick up your car, and then somebody will supply you with a courtesy car. Okay. Friday afternoon, the 30th of October, none of this is forthcoming. I'm not getting a courtesy car, and nobody's picking up the car to be repaired. I am told by a guy at Enterprise, I think his name was Chris, on the 01489 number. I'm told by Chris, who was the most helpful, I believe, at Enterprise. I'm told by him that the approved repairer is a company called AD Williams, and they're in Wimbledon. This is their company website, AD Williams, and the specific address is this one here on Weir Road. It's actually 56 Weir Road, Wimbledon. So I'm thinking, brilliant. I've now got from Enterprise details of somebody who's going to pick up my car and have it repaired. And then I get confirmation from Chris at Enterprise. No, that's not happening. They're not very far away. Can you drive the car? Bearing in mind, I was told by the police at the scene of accident, obviously not to make you shouldn't really be driving this car too much. Drive it back a short distance, and I did that from the scene of the accident back down to Wimbledon. I drove the car back. Then I had to, because nobody was going to pick it up, had to drive the car to AD Williams. I drove the car to AD Williams at this address for them to assess and then come back to me. I left the car on a Friday afternoon. I was told by a lady called Diane at AD Williams here. I was told by a lady, Diane, that they would look at the car and then supply a courtesy car to me. So this is we're now Friday afternoon, and I'm told I'll get a courtesy car maybe Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so AD Williams on Monday, they say to me, we've looked at the car and it's beyond economical repair. So that, for those that don't understand, that means that the cost of the repairs, the car's so smashed up, the cost of the repairs and the age of the car mean that it's not worth repairing it. So because it's not worth repairing, because of the extent of the damage and also obviously the age of the car, which is a factor, they're not going to repair it, and they're not going to supply me with a courtesy car. So it's now almost a week since the accident. Nobody picked up my car. I had to drive it to the garage myself. Nobody has been in contact from my insurers, Hastings Direct, who are supposedly managing this whole process. And I'm being told by the lady Diane, and it's not her fault. So I'm always objective in my reviews. It's not the lady Diane. It's not her fault that they're not going to repair the car because it's beyond economical repair. I understand that. It's not her fault that she then, I suppose, won't give me a courtesy car, because they only give courtesy cars when cars are being repaired. If a car's not being repaired, they're not going to give me a courtesy car. I understand that. So I don't blame her. Okay, so this is the situation. I'm now 6 days at the recording of this video. I'm now 6 days since the accident. What do I pay for with car insurance with Hastings Direct? Because they didn't arrange for the car to be picked up. The car's not been repaired, and no courtesy car has been supplied. Right. So let's say that again. Let's just say that again. The car was not picked up to be repaired from my home address to repairers. I had to do that myself. The courtesy car was not supplied by AD Williams or by anybody else, and so I'm left unable to travel without a vehicle through an accident that was caused by a driver at Fast UK and a driver at Ryan Jayberg, but it wasn't caused by me. So Hastings Direct, and this is where I really get annoyed, because Hastings Direct have not managed this process. I've made lots of calls, and it was only after the weekend I realised I'm still in the state of shock, because obviously my car's, let's say, destroyed, and the company that I pay car insurance for has done nothing. They've done nothing. They treat their customers with contempt. I had one initial email. I'm not going to go into my email now, but I've had one initial email to say, you've lodged a claim. Here's your claim number. That was after I spoke with Liam. So Liam did that. He logged the claim, opened the claim. Since then, I've had nothing in writing from anybody. Nothing in writing from Hastings to say, oh, we're arranging repair or assessing. Because of the back pain I've experienced, it was mentioned by somebody at Hastings Direct that they would be in touch with carpenters, and carpenters would be on the phone to me. Carpenters are their approved legal representation. So they would be following up the personal injury claim and the other aspects of the claim in terms of the compensation, or because my car had been destroyed by a driver from Fast UK, and also my damage was contributed by a driver by Ryan Jayberg. So I've had nothing in writing. That's very dodgy. That they're not a good enough company to put anything in writing other than open the claim. What needs to happen is Hastings Direct need to say, right, okay, the car's been assessed professionally, it's not worth repairing. We need to do two things. We need to follow up and chase Fast UK, who are being difficult from my understanding, what people have said at Enterprise. They're being difficult and in not processing the insurance claim. They were clearly at fault. Their driver was clearly at fault, and they're being difficult and not communicating with Hastings Direct or with Enterprise. So that's the first thing. So Hastings Direct need to get hold of that. They also need to understand that I have been out without a vehicle now for 6 days. So that they need to come to a speedy resolution of this case and make a payment to me so that I'm able to buy another car. That's what they need to do. This is basic. This is not me unshelling some insights of, masterful customer service. This is a basic level, very basic level, and they've not done any of this. Hastings Direct are, if you were to give them a customer review at the moment, at the time of recording, this would be 0 stars, maybe minus stars, because they have not done anything other than this started with one guy at Hastings Direct saying, oh well, let me read you your terms and conditions, let me remind you of your excess. He didn't even want to discuss the accident. The next guy, Liam, was better, as I mentioned in the earlier part of this video. Since then, the communication between Hastings Direct and Enterprise has not been good. The communications between Hastings Direct, Enterprise and AD Williams has not been good. All I want is a resolution. Remember, I was back of my car was crashed into by a driver, Mr. Lopez, from Fast UK. And also another driver crashed into Mr. Lopez from Ryan Jayberg. I want a speedy resolution, so I'm back on the road. Hastings Direct have not been able to provide that. Enterprise have not been able to provide that. AD Williams have not been able to provide that. What the hell am I paying Hastings Direct for? What exactly do they do? This is an honest review of a case study that's live now. You can imagine, as I'm recording this video, I don't have a car. I don't have a car through no fault of my own. So I want you to watch this. If you're going through one of those price comparison websites and you see Hastings Direct and it's one of your options, watch this video and then think about making a different selection, because at the moment they've been woeful. As I said earlier, they're treating their customers with contempt. They've not provided a resolution. Even if you can't provide a resolution in 6 days, you can communicate in writing and say, this is what's going to happen. This person will be calling you, or if you need to call them, you can call somebody and give a direct line. Instead, you're passed from person to person to person to company and bounced around because nobody wants to take responsibility. This is what happens. This is not acceptable. Companies like this, there's a lot of people struggling companies-wise, because of the global pandemic that has dominated this year. I would suggest that Hastings Direct should be grateful that they're still in business, and they should be treating their customers with kindness and helping them get to a speedy resolution. This has been my customer review of a live case study, because I've been in an accident, and this has been my review of Hastings Direct. Hope you found it useful. If you have, give me a like. If you've not subscribed already, Thanks for watching all the way through. I know it's a long video, but it was very relevant, and it's interesting. It would be interesting for people who are considering car insurance in the UK to watch this and get a true insight into how some companies deal with or handle or care for their customers. Thanks for watching. I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye bye.